Have you ever heard of the gamer lawsuit against Microsoft trying to stop Xbox Activision deal? If you haven't, don't worry, because it looks like this lawsuit has been just dismissed. Let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So Microsoft is still trying to convince regulators to allow Xbox Activision deal to go through. They've got some success with European Union and European Commission. Looks like this deal will actually go through in European Union. They still have to work hard convince CMA and FTC, so we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, there was this gamer lawsuit going on as well, where a group of gamers did sue Microsoft, basically complaining about this deal. Looks like these were PlayStation gamers, because I don't think Xbox gamers would actually complain. And obviously they were backed up by lawyers, so looks like they will be losing some money, because I'm sure they had to pay the lawyers to actually proceed with a lawsuit and stuff. And that lawsuit is not actually going anywhere, because according to Tom Warren and some documents he actually found, a judge has dismissed the gamer lawsuit against Microsoft, filed to try and stop the Activision Blizzard deal. And here's the quote: "Complaint does not plausibly allege the merger creates a reasonable probability of anti-competitive effects in any relevant market." So I'm not really going to get into details of this lawsuit and everything. I'm not really a lawyer, so I'm not really well qualified to analyze it properly. But it's actually funny that independent judge see no issues with that deal, while these regulators has been thinking about and working on that deal and trying to process what that deal means for the market, and they just don't get it, right? Now I know that these anti-competitive anti-monopoly kind of regulators are there to protect consumers and stuff, but it didn't really take long, this judge or a group of judges to actually make up their mind and see that, hey, there's no anti-competitive stuff going on with that deal, and the market is actually big enough to serve all these third-party parties and all these companies. And it's also very creative market, because we've seen so many companies going down, and yet we are also seeing a lot of we also see a rise of many other companies and stuff, and so some behemoths actually fall while other actually grows at the same time. So it's a very competitive market, yes, and I don't see why how Activision Blizzard would actually change it, right? I mean, Xbox Activision Blizzard deal going through would actually change it. If anything, that would actually make the whole market more competitive, because Xbox would be more of a threat for Sony. And I understand why Sony is so anti that deal. I get it. I understand why they do that. I understand why they do what they do. It's just every single time I read some of these complaints from Sony, and to be honest with you, sometimes even when I read some of the Xbox stuff they write, they put in documents, it's just like, really? I mean, are you serious? So generally speaking, this deal is just like one big, well, I don't really want to say joke, because it's really difficult to joke about $68 billion really. But when it comes to the lawyers and what sort of arguments they use on both sides, really, because it's actually funny that both Sony and Microsoft kind of creates this, I guess, vision for these regulators where both companies cannot function without Call of Duty, right? And it's actually funny that like they focus on Call of Duty so much. It's just like Call of Duty here, Call of Duty there. It's just like I mean, is there no other games to play? I mean, are we saying that like all people play is Call of Duty? It's just like crazy. And I understand, the importance of Call of Duty, but I think that when it comes to this deal, it's for Microsoft, it's more than just Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is actually a part of that deal, and it's very important. But I think that they also are super interested, even more than in Call of Duty, in the mobile market. And like recently, there was some news about Microsoft investing more and more in a mobile market, and they want to open that Microsoft store on Google, I think, on Google Store. Not sure about Apple Store, but so yeah, they really want to enter that market, and we'll see how that goes. So it's a big play for Microsoft because I think Phil Spencer did say that it's not really about Xbox. It's not a situation where they would not be able to exist without this deal going through, but it would actually speed up the process of competing, I guess, against Sony. And to be honest with you, it's not even about Sony per se. It's more about like other as well, because like at first I thought, yes, it was all about Sony, but like the most recent focus on mobile and that Microsoft mobile store they are planning to open soon, really makes me realize that they are really chasing the mobile market big time as well. And and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that they're not interested in Xbox ecosystem or PC market or console market and stuff. I think it's more about grabbing everything and building one big platform where you can access all these games on different devices. So it kind of makes sense when Microsoft says that, because if you think about it, like having these apps on mobile phones or tablets or even TVs and stuff, you don't even need a console or PC to play games, with streaming and that kind of stuff, and internet getting better and better. I'm not necessarily a big fan of it, right? I prefer to play on a console or PC, and I will do that as long as I can. And I don't think that hardware is going anywhere. I've got some thoughts on it because I've heard some wild comments from for example, David Jaffe, for example, and Michael Pachter recently. They believe that consoles are maybe a thing of the past, in a decade or so. I don't think that's going to happen. They may not be as popular as mobile, and they are not as popular as mobile phones, for example. So that's why Microsoft is chasing mobile, because there's just more more people on these devices. So I understand why they're chasing that, but you still need some hardware to run these games on, and that's why these consoles and console blades, that investment is not going anywhere. And I don't think consoles may become a niche thing in the future, but they are not going anywhere. I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, guys, but I'll make a video about it probably tomorrow. So yeah, I will see how that goes. So looks like that gamer lawsuit is not going anywhere. It's kind of dead. So yeah, looks like PlayStation gamers will not stop that deal. I wonder what's going to happen with CMA and FTC. We'll have to wait and see. At least about 2 months, I think, maybe faster. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for support. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.